chosen one. Stop exactly what you are doing right now. Do not scroll past this message. I am not asking you to listen. I am warning you. What I am about to expose was sealed in the courts of heaven until this exact second. You are currently standing at the most dangerous intersection of your life. The enemy has set a flawless trap disguised as an ordinary week. He is amplifying your confusion because he knows he cannot stop the provision that is coming. He can only hope you sabotage it yourself by operating with a blocked receiver. Pay very close attention to the physical and spiritual symptoms you have experienced over the last 7 days. That heavy feeling behind your eyes. The way your prayers feel like they are hitting a brass ceiling and bouncing back into an empty room. The deep exhaustion that 10 hours of sleep cannot fix. The constant mental fog that makes simple daily decisions feel like carrying heavy stones. You thought you were just tired. You thought you were losing your edge or falling behind everyone else. But heaven sent me to reframe your reality right now. You are not failing. You are the target of a highly coordinated spiritual theft. The enemy is not attacking your physical circumstances directly right now. He is attacking your capacity to perceive them. He is targeting the exact neural architecture God designed for you to receive divine instruction. When your mind is clouded and your frequency is dragged down, you cannot recognize the doors heaven is actively opening for you. You end up walking right past the divine connections and the supernatural provision that have already been dispatched from the throne room. Take a deep breath right now. Notice the tension sitting in your shoulders and the unexplainable tightness in your chest. That physical weight is exactly what the darkness hopes you ignore. They want you to accept this condition as your new normal. They want you to believe this mental fatigue is just the cost of being a spiritual sponge. They want you to arrange your furniture around this lie and call it home. Do not accept it. Your spirit is screaming that something is wrong because you remember what clarity used to feel like. Before we go any deeper into the spiritual warfare surrounding your current season, I need you to hold something in your mind. There is a specific number, a number that won the most prestigious prize in science in 1981. When you hear what that number means for the way your mind was originally designed to work, you will understand why everything I have said so far is not a metaphor. It is physiological architecture. I will come back to that number. A small group of neuroscientists found something about the way the human brain operates that explains the exact spiritual distance you have been feeling. It explains why your intuition feels suppressed. It explains why the flow of abundance seems blocked even when your faith remains strong. What they found proves that your struggle is not a character flaw, it is a neurological blockade. I am going to tell you exactly what they discovered and how it changes everything later in this message. But right now, hold this one question in your spirit. What if the reason your mind feels foggy is not a lack of discipline, but because something profound was taken from you without your permission? I am going to show you exactly how to take it back. But first you must understand why the darkness chose to target you specifically out of everyone in your bloodline. You have spent your entire life being the emotional sponge for everyone around you. You absorb the heavy frequencies of the rooms you walk into, and you carry burdens that do not even belong to you. The enemy wants you to look at your current exhaustion and call it a weakness. He wants you to believe you are simply not strong enough to handle the pressure of your calling. But let me reframe your reality right now. You are not weak. Your spirit is operating at a massive capacity, but it is trying to function through a receiver that has been systematically disconnected. Hear this clearly, because heaven wants to remove the weight you have been carrying for years. The spiritual drought you are experiencing right now is not your fault. You did not do anything to cause this delay. You have not failed God, and you have not missed your appointed window of opportunity. The Creator of the universe is not keeping a record of the times you felt too tired to pray or too drained to stand up. He is holding your heart. You do not need to suffer anymore to prove you are worthy of the breakthrough. You just need to receive the restoration that is being offered to you in this exact moment. The exhaustion sitting deep in your bones is the physical result of a profound spiritual misalignment. Your soul is constantly fighting in the unseen realm, shielding your bloodline and breaking generational cycles that nobody else had the courage to face. But your physical mind, the very architecture designed to process those spiritual victories into earthly reality, is running on a fraction of its original power. When the spirit is forced to operate through a fragmented mind, the result is the exact fog you are sitting in today. The enemy knows that if he can keep your receiver broken, your supernatural power remains trapped in the unseen realm. If you feel a sudden urge to swipe away from this video right now, or if your mind suddenly feels restless, that is not a normal distraction. The enemy rarely attacks hardest when you are stagnant. He attacks hardest when you are seconds away from elevation. The closer you get to clarity, the stronger the pull will be to return to the noise. You must resist it. That sudden boredom or urge to scroll is a highly calculated spiritual attack. The darkness is terrified that you are finally learning the truth about your own mental architecture. They know that once you hear this, their hidden advantage is gone forever. Heaven communicates through frequency, and your mind is the instrument specifically designed to catch that divine frequency. Imagine trying to tune into a vital emergency broadcast using a radio that has had its internal wires pulled apart. The signal from heaven is incredibly strong. The provision you have been praying for is already in motion. The answers you have been crying out for are broadcasting loudly. But your internal receiver has been divided by the constant stress and the low frequencies of the modern world. You are only catching static, and the enemy has tricked you into mistaking that static for silence from God. They targeted you specifically because you are the cycle breaker heaven has been waiting for. The darkness looked at your spiritual DNA and saw someone capable of shifting the atmosphere of entire cities just by walking into a room. They realized that if your mind ever fully synchronized with your spirit, you would become a completely unstoppable force. So they did not attack your spirit directly because they knew they could not defeat the anointing you carry. Instead, they attacked your cognitive stamina. They sent counterfeit connections and draining environments to slowly erode your mental bandwidth over decades. But the season of your mental depletion is officially coming to an end. Heaven is issuing a divine recall for every single piece of your focus that was stolen from you by people who did not value your light. Chosen one, as we move deeper into this revelation, do not let your mind wander. Anchor your spirit firmly to my voice, because the next layer we uncover is where many powerful people lose themselves. I am going to show you exactly how this division in your mind happened and how the ancient texts predicted this exact moment long before modern science caught up. The world tells you to push through the exhaustion and just try harder. The enemy whispers that taking a step back means you are failing your divine assignment. But I need you to hear what the Spirit actually says about the condition of your vessel. When you look at the ancient texts, you see a profound truth that modern society has completely forgotten. Every major prophet and chosen vessel in history faced a moment where their physical mind could no longer carry the weight of their spiritual calling. Their breakthrough did not come from forcing themselves to endure more pain. It came from a period of profound physical and cognitive restoration. Look at the prophet Elijah as your ultimate example. After calling down fire from heaven and defeating the prophets of false gods, he did not immediately step into a season of triumph. Instead, he ran into the wilderness and collapsed under a heavy cloud of profound exhaustion. He sat under a tree and asked God to take his life because his mind was completely overwhelmed by the spiritual warfare he had just endured. He was experiencing the exact same cognitive overload you are feeling right now. He had the highest anointing, but his physical receiver was temporarily shattered by the intense magnitude of the battle. How did heaven respond to Elijah in that moment of absolute depletion? God did not scold him for lacking faith. The Most High did not tell him to pray longer or fight harder. Heaven sent an angel to touch him and say, "Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for you." The angel fed him and let him sleep. God restored his physical and cognitive vessel before he ever gave him the next prophetic instruction. Heaven understands that your spiritual capacity is directly limited by the current condition of your earthly receiver. Many ordinary people would have walked away from this message by now, because the truth of their own exhaustion makes them incredibly uncomfortable. But you have remained, and that matters more than you realize. Your willingness to stay and listen to these difficult words is absolute proof that your spirit is already fighting back against the fog. You have passed the test of discernment today. You have resisted the temptation to rush back into the meaningless noise, and heaven is honoring your obedience right now by revealing this blueprint to you. You cannot pour the heavy oil of a massive new anointing into a vessel that is fractured by stress and cognitive overload. The universe operates on the absolute laws of frequency and divine alignment. When your mind is divided by endless distractions, your frequency is scattered, and a scattered frequency always attracts confusion. The enemy knows perfectly well that he cannot touch the sacred promise God placed over your life. His entire strategy is to crack the vessel instead. If he can keep your mind locked in a constant state of survival, he can delay the physical manifestation of your breakthrough indefinitely. This is exactly why your season of waiting has felt so incredibly long and painful. You thought you were waiting for heaven to finally open a new door, but heaven has been waiting for your internal architecture to be restored to its original state. The delay was never a denial of your destiny. It was a mandatory holding pattern designed to keep you from stepping into a massive blessing with a mind that would immediately buckle under its heavy weight. God loves you too much to give you the kingdom when your receiver is too fragmented to rule it properly. The time for waiting is over, and the time for your internal restoration has officially arrived. But there is a specific, almost predictable pattern the darkness uses to keep chosen ones trapped in this endless cycle of depletion. Listen to me very carefully right now, because this next part is going to reach places inside you that you have never been able to put into words. I am about to call out the exact hidden agreement that has been keeping you feeling empty, and when you hear it, the illusion will shatter forever. You have been operating under a hidden agreement for so long that it feels like your own personality. The enemy convinced you that your intense sensitivity was a burden and that your exhaustion was simply a permanent flaw in your character. They whispered lies into your mind in the middle of the night, telling you that your golden days are behind you and that you will always feel this heavy. You accepted the reduced version of your mind as your final reality. But that is the greatest illusion the darkness ever cast over your life. They did not construct this lie because you are weak or incapable. They built this elaborate illusion precisely because they are absolutely terrified of what happens when you finally wake up. The enemy knows that if you ever realize the true magnitude of your divine intelligence, their control over your circumstances will shatter instantly. You are a celestial warrior operating in enemy territory, and a warrior with a clear mind is the most dangerous weapon on earth. That is exactly why they spent years throwing every possible distraction at your frequency. Pay close attention to your body right now as you hear these words. Notice how your heart rate is steadying and your breathing is becoming deeper and more grounded. That calm feeling is not something you are creating on your own, and it is certainly not a random occurrence. That is the physical evidence of your spiritual frequency synchronizing with the truth in real time. Your soul recognizes the exact sound of its own liberation, and it is responding by forcing the physical fog to begin lifting from your mind right now. For years you arranged your daily habits around the assumption that you were just naturally forgetful or easily overwhelmed. You stopped taking big risks because you did not trust your own mental stamina to carry you through the challenges of a new season. The lie became a shelter that protected you from having to step into the massive spotlight of your true calling. But heaven is stripping away that false survival identity today. You are not broken, you are not losing your edge, and you are definitely not meant to live in this state of constant mental fatigue. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open since the very beginning of this message. Because I told you earlier that there was a profound discovery made in research laboratories that I was going to come back to. I asked you to hold a question about what was stolen from your mind and how it could be returned. I waited until this exact moment to bring it forward, because a solution only becomes truly useful once you understand the full depth of the warfare it solves. You now understand the true shape of the spiritual attack against your mind. What I am about to show you is going to connect everything you have felt in your own isolated experience with something that was proven at the highest levels of human science. This connection is going to explain the missing link in your life that nothing else has ever been able to resolve. It is time to reveal the exact physical mechanism that restores your divine receiver to its original state. Prepare your spirit, because the answer to your years of silent struggling is standing right in front of you. A man from Chicago wrote 3 words to me after his second week of experiencing what I am about to share. He simply said, "The fog lifted." That is not magic, and it is not a random coincidence. There is a study that won the Nobel Prize in 1981. It did not come from a church or a seminary, but from a highly advanced research laboratory. Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for discovering exactly how the 2 hemispheres of the human brain are designed for absolute synchronization. He proved that your mind is built to operate as a unified receiver for higher frequencies. When this neural architecture is fully synchronized, it produces a state of whole brain activation. Research shows that 98% of children operate at this exact level of creative genius. You had this immense power when you were young, and you did not lose it because you did something wrong. You lost it because modern life systematically suppresses this synchronization from the time we are born. Today, less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain this activated state, The constant noise and stress of the modern world slowly erodes the connection between the two hemispheres, leaving you operating on a fraction of your intended capacity. A woman from California described what it felt like before she found the answer to this disconnection. She had tried absolutely everything to break through her spiritual block, from daily prayer to journaling to every meditation practice her community offered. She kept arriving at the exact same frustrating experience every single time. She believed the sacred words, but she could not feel the reality behind them in her physical body. After 10 days of using the protocol, "I am going to reveal," she said, something massive finally cleared. A channel that had been blocked for years was suddenly wide open, simply because her physical receiver had been repaired. A man from Texas described something incredibly similar about his own journey. He was someone who had spent years holding everything together for everyone around him, while his own interior life became thin and completely distant. He said his daily prayer had started to feel exactly like talking into a thick brick wall. The spiritual frequency was perfectly right, but his internal receiver was turned off. 2 weeks later, he woke up and described his mind as finally running on all of what it was supposed to run on. The heavy mental fog that had been so consistent, he stopped registering it as fog, was completely gone. That profound shift happened because of what a team of brilliant neuroscientists spent years building in a laboratory. Led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York, they took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology, the exact kind of whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings. Through an intensive compression and refinement process, they turned it into an incredibly simple 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes a day with your headphones on and your eyes closed is the entirety of the physical requirement. They call it the genius switch. The genius switch is the key to restoring the receiver. I need to be absolutely clear about what this tool actually is. It is not a standard brainwave product that you find scattered across the internet. It is not a meditation app, and it is not a basic sound frequency designed just to put you in a relaxed mood. If you have used binaural beats before and found them completely underwhelming, Dr. Barone addresses this directly. Brainwave products target only a tiny fraction of the overall picture. The Genius Switch is specifically engineered to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation that was your default state in childhood. Sound waves alone are completely incomplete when dealing with a disconnection of this magnitude. What his team built targets hemisphere synchronization at the whole brain level using a multi-layer protocol developed from years of deep clinical refinement. That is an entirely different mechanism, and it produces an entirely different category of result for the person using it. But the team behind this incredible restoration tool made one thing very clear to anyone seeking to use it. This specific level of cognitive restoration requires a specific kind of spirit to hold it properly, and it is absolutely not meant for everyone. The Genius Switch is absolutely not for everyone. It is specifically engineered for the chosen one who understands that heaven prepared not only the divine promise, but also the physical mind that must walk into it. It is for the person who has been incredibly sincere for years and who has continuously done the heavy spiritual work. Most people who hear about this will simply scroll past because they have accepted the reduced version of their mind as permanent. But you are still here, and that is exactly the kind of persistence that belongs to the person this restoration was built for. 18,456. That is not a corporate number or a meaningless statistic. That is the exact size of the community of chosen ones who firmly decided their mind deserved what their spirit had already claimed. The one who chooses to join them today does not become part of a random customer list. They complete a divine assembly of cycle breakers who are finally taking their original power back. Colleagues in the medical field suggested this clinical-grade protocol would be an incredible value, even at $500. Similar, in-person neurofeedback sessions cost $300 an hour, and home machines cost upwards of $7,000. But Dr. Barone wanted to ensure this reached the people who needed it most, so it was originally released at $49. Today, on the specific page connected to this message, there is an additional reduction. The access is $39. Along with the core sequence, they are including 4 specific companion resources at no extra cost. You receive a guided visualization for your future, a smart grocery guide to eliminate brain fog, a classic manifestation text, and a highly detailed daily habits blueprint. Everything is backed by an unconditional ironclad guarantee that removes every single ounce of risk. You can listen to the sequence once, or you can listen 80 times. If it does not do exactly what it has done for 18,000 other people, every single dollar is returned without a single question asked. Let me put this differently so you truly understand what is at stake. Do not think about this in terms of what this access costs, but rather what not having it is currently costing you. Think about one missed divine promotion or one sacred relationship that stayed shallow because the version of you that showed up was running on partial capacity. $39 is not a price you pay. It is simply the tiny gap between what you are right now and what you were originally designed to operate as. The divine provision God has already placed near you becomes clearly visible in the synchronized state in a way it simply does not in the partial state. This is not because the provision is new or because heaven suddenly decided to bless you. It is because the internal receiver that can actually recognize the blessing is finally restored. What has been carefully arranged for your life is already in full motion. The only question remaining is whether you will arrive at the meeting point with your receiver fully online. I must give you a very clear warning about what the enemy will try to do next. If you search online platforms for anything that sounds similar, you will find countless fake tracks that contain zero neural sync technology. The true mechanism is what makes the actual difference, and that mechanism only exists in what his team officially built. If your spirit resonates with what has been described, the verified path is located in the description below and in the pinned comment. That direct page is the only authentic source where every detail is laid out clearly. I need you to understand that this tool does not replace God. It does not replace your spiritual obedience, and it certainly does not fight the unseen battles for you. What heaven is doing in your life right now is not conditional on any earthly tool, but a tool that effectively restores the physical receiver simply gives what God is already doing a clear place to land. A clear mind is the exact foundation your spirit needs for the next chapter. You can feel the atmosphere in the room shifting right now. The heavy clouds of confusion that have followed you for months are finally beginning to break apart. Heaven is declaring that your season of surviving on small fragments of energy is officially over. The profound spiritual exhaustion you carried was never meant to be your permanent residence. You are stepping into a dimension of clarity where the quiet whispers of the Holy Spirit will sound louder than the chaotic noise of the world. And for the chosen one, who felt something stir deeply inside their spirit when the restored mind was mentioned earlier, that specific door is still open for you in the description. It is a very small physical step to take today, but small steps taken from a mind that has been completely cleared of fog have historically changed entire generational seasons. The resource remains perfectly available for the ones whose spirit has already confirmed the truth of what was spoken. The days of waking up feeling like you have already lost the battle before your feet hit the floor are coming to an end. Heaven is actively realigning the people, the resources, and the sacred opportunities that the darkness tried to scatter. You will suddenly find yourself walking into rooms where your presence alone shifts the entire atmosphere. The people who previously misunderstood your deep silence will begin to seek you out for the exact wisdom you carry. This is not going to happen because you finally prove them wrong, but because heaven is actively proving the divine plan right in your life. What remains in this message belongs entirely to the sacred sealing of your new season. Heaven is about to hand you the exact coordinates for the next massive chapter of your divine assignment. When your receiver is fully online, you will not have to second-guess every intuition or wonder if you are making the right choice. The path will illuminate naturally because your internal frequency will perfectly match the frequency of the provision God has already set aside for you. You will begin to see the hidden traps of the enemy from a mile away. But listen to me very carefully before we move into the final declaration. If you choose to walk away from this message right now, right before the spoken word is completely sealed, you are making a grave mistake. Leaving this encounter early is exactly the same as leaving the front door of your house wide open while the darkness is actively waiting outside. If you walk away now, you risk reopening an exit that heaven has already permanently closed for your absolute protection. You must stay to seal the perimeter of your spirit. We are about to enter the most sacred part of this divine appointment. I need you to silence any remaining distractions around you and focus entirely on the sound of my voice. The enemy wants you to minimize this moment and treat it like just another piece of content on your screen. But the angels assigned to your bloodline are standing at absolute attention right now. They are waiting for your physical authorization to complete the massive relocation order that was issued from the throne room. Many ordinary people would have walked away when the words became uncomfortable or when the conviction felt too heavy to carry. But you have stayed through the absolute entirety of this message. That is not passive entertainment. That is a profound decision your spirit made long before your physical mind caught up with the truth. Decisions that begin in the spirit do not end when the screen goes dark. They end with a sacred seal. Place your hand on your heart right now. Take a deep breath and release the heavy armor you have been wearing for years. Before we seal this completely, hit the like button, not for this channel, but so this exact frequency can reach another chosen one who is struggling in the dark. Subscribe right now, because heaven is not done speaking to you, and you cannot afford to miss the next instruction. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine waking up 14 days from now with the fog that has been sitting heavily behind your eyes completely gone. The prayer that felt like it was hitting a brass ceiling is finally landing, and the major decision you have been endlessly circling is suddenly clear. That version of you is not hypothetical. That is the exact version 18,000 people describe after their receiver was fully restored. Now, We come to the last door. The specific door I named earlier and have not returned to since. It has not moved. And everything that was waiting behind it, your genius switch, is exactly what it was when I first described it. $39 to walk through an absolute guarantee that costs you nothing to try, and the exact restoration your mind needs waiting on the other side. $39 is not the price, because the price is what you have already been paying every single day. The synchronization stays disrupted. You have my permission to invest in yourself today. Not because I am your authority, because I am not. I have just watched far too many chosen ones treat a small restoration as an extravagance while they spend their entire capacity covering everyone else. The path to it is in the description below and in the comment pinned to this video. Both point to the exact same door. Neither one will move if you come back to look for it tomorrow. Type the words, "I am ready," for what God is revealing in the comments below. That is not just typing on a screen. That is your physical signature on the relocation order heaven just issued. You are giving the angels permission to complete the move. I declare that your season of mental exhaustion is permanently over. I declare that your frequency is rising to meet the divine provision that is already waiting for you. May your mind be clear, may your spirit be fierce, and may your path be absolutely illuminated. And for the one whose spirit asks what comes after this door, there is a second door. They call it youthful brain. It will find you.